This damn logo. Every time I think I have a lead, I get sent down another rabbit hole. How can an organization as beloved and storied as the Edmonton Oilers not know basic information about their own logo? If you haven't seen my short regarding the Oilers logo, I highly suggest watching it before this video. It's 59 seconds long and it sets up the foundation of this whole quest that I'm on. If you still don't want to watch it, here's the 10-second recap. We know the designer of every Canadian hockey team's logo and their design philosophy, except for the Quebec Nordiques and the Edmonton Oilers. Until now, kind of. When I say no one knows who designed the Oilers logo, I'm not exaggerating. The Oilers organization told me to look online, which then led me to an NHL official site where former Oilers captain Al Hamilton basically throws his shoulders up and goes, "I don't know who did it." The other sources online usually lead to Todd McFarlane as the designer, despite him being 11 when the original Alberta Oilers logo debuted. The Alberta Sports Hall of Fame didn't have any information either, and the Edmonton Journal wasn't any help at all, at least in its modern iteration. More on that later. I turned to the one family that might know, the Hunters. I contacted Bart Hunter, son of Oilers founder Bill Hunter, to see if he might know. He didn't know off the top of his head, but we did end up grabbing brunch with his sister, Bev Hunter, who worked closely with her father during the WHA days. We had a great conversation, and I can't thank both Bart and Bev enough for sitting down with me. We chatted about the Oilers alumni, the 1980 Memorial Cup, and a bunch more hockey politics. A good time was had by all. Bev mentioned that a former Journal artist, Yardley Jones, might be a good place to start with the logo. He wasn't exactly a stranger to the organization. He would do player portraits every year, well into the Pocklington era. So I fired off an email, and I haven't heard back since, but let's put his name on the board for now. My next link is the aforementioned Todd McFarlane. This is just absurd, and I have to set the record straight. Todd McFarlane didn't design the original Oilers logo. He designed the Oil Drop and Gear logo from the 2001 season when he was a co-owner of the team. The whole design document is searchable online, and here's a quick breakdown. The 5 rivets are for the 5 cups. The gear teeth are for all the captains of the team up until 2001. The metal is for toughness, and the oil drop is to connect it to the original logo. I better not get anyone telling me Todd McFarlane designed the original logo ever again. This is the final warning, seriously. That's kind of where the whole trail goes cold. There's not much else. There's nothing in the papers, there's nothing online. Nada, zilch, nothing. That was, until one night, when going over all of my searches again to see if I may have missed something, I did one final search, and instead of using the keywords logo or design, I put in crest, and I got one single result. No f***ing way. It was there the whole time. This is the guy, Jim Harvey, graduate of the Ontario College of Arts, working for Francis Williams Johnson & Payne Limited. This is one of only 2 instances where he is mentioned as the designer, with no sources, might I add, so the connection is anecdotal at best. But perhaps, if we go through Jim's portfolio, and by extension the portfolio of Francis Williams Johnson & Payne, which I'm calling FWJ in all future instances, and then we cross-reference it with what we know about the logo, we could maybe find something that ties them together. The Oilers logo is based on the Gulf Western Oil logo. Its shape and colors reflect that, and it's confirmed by Bill Hunter himself. June 8th, 1972 was the first time the Oilers' name was revealed to the public, and June 21st of the same year was the first time the color scheme was also made public. Both were Bill Hunter's design choices, so the man himself had lots to do with the way the logo looks today. I think he kinda deserves partial credit at least. The first time the logo made an appearance was during a player signing on July 7th, 1972. I desperately want to know where that design document went. That thing should be in a display case in Rogers Place, but sadly, I think it's either long gone or tucked away in someone's storage unit. So let's match the timeline of the supposed design house, FWJ, with the logo. FWJ was started by John Drummond Francis in 1954 after his stint with the Calgary Philharmonic came to an end. Together with William Payne, Dermot Williams, and Bob Johnson, they would dominate the PR and ad design space in Calgary, giving the Stampede its look and feel and promoting the event up until 1983. Eventually, they would expand into Edmonton after purchasing Natal and Maloney Limited, where they would hire James Harvey as a creative director in 1971. Just in time too, as Alberta was looking to update its logo and image for the modern era. In 1972, the province put out a public tender to any skilled artists and brand marketers to give the province a fresh new look. The submission by FWJ ended up winning the design contest, with James Harvey getting the lion's share of the credit. In case you're a font geek, his version uses the ITC Avant-Garde font created by Herb Lubalin for the Avant-Garde magazine. It's pretty seamless, isn't it? If the rumors are true, the next big contract would be the Oilers logo for the World Hockey Association. I'd say they captured the spirit of the Gulf logo pretty good here. The font used is ITC Aiken Medium Pro, which was cutting edge for the 70s. Jim just pulled down the bottom of the letters and curved them to be parallel with the circular nature of the logo. Brian Mainman of the Star Phoenix said it best after a 1972 game versus the LA Sharks. The Oilers crest, naturally enough, shows a drop of oil about to drop on the word Oilers, which has its letters drawn close together as if part of a machine. Continuing the timeline, FWJ would then go on to do campaigns for Alberta Milk, provincial tourism, the Calgary Olympics, and basically give the Saddle Dome its logo and promotional look. Jim would leave FWJ in 1979 when he joined up with J. Ford Advertising, and after that, well, it's anyone's guess. I couldn't find anything on James Harvey besides the 1974 interview that calls him the Oilers logo designer, and a 2001 interview in a Ponoka pub regarding the upcoming election. The company fared much better, but eventually broke apart. The fourth partner, Bill Payne, would work for the Alberta government, being an MLA for Calgary Fish Creek under Peter Lougheed. Bob Johnson would get into filmmaking in Africa. Dermot Williams would leave to retire, but it took a few years for him to get fully committed to the retirement life. John Francis kept on going with FWJ. The company would be sold to an international public relations firm out of New York called TMP, now called Radency. John was still working with the Canadian Public Relations Society as late as 2019. So if the information is out there, he probably has it. As a point of posterity, emails have been sent out to a bunch of these contacts. I'm just waiting to hear back from any of them in regards to the Oilers logo. I hope somebody has some information. So where are we now? Well, if we look at FWJ and what they were doing around Alberta and Edmonton to be more specific, and then we look at the rise of Bill Hunter's WHA, you can see that they are kind of neck and neck. If FWJ was as dominant and approachable as they were reported to be, then I can actually believe that they had a hand in the logo's design. Jim Harvey was clearly a popular and talented artist, considering he gave Alberta its identity from 1972 until 2009. It isn't out of the question that someone of his skill could make a basic logo like that of the Oilers. My issue is the anecdotal nature of it all. It all just kind of feels wrong. There are no other strings tying FWJ and the WHA together, let alone Jim and the logo together. So I'm putting out a call to anyone, but this time I've given you a ton more information, so please go do some research. Find some stuff. The hockey world deserves to put a face to this iconic logo. Thanks for watching.